Welcome to the Service Unit Manager training. This presentation is just one part of the training you'll receive to help you feel confident in your role. We'll talk more later about other training opportunities. By the end of this session, you will be able to define the role of the Service Unit and the Service Unit Manager, describe the basic concepts of recruitment, retention, and recognition, and how to use effective communication skills when working with volunteers and resolving conflicts. What is a service unit? Girl Scouts in troops and as individuals are supported by volunteers and teen advisors. Girl Scouts can also participate in series, events, travel, or camp pathways. These troops and girls comprise service units. Service units are organized by area and are supported by adult volunteers. These service units are geographically grouped and make up our council, Girl Scouts of Western New York. GSWNY comprises the general Western New York area of Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Erie, Genesee, Livingston, Monroe, Niagara, Orleans, and Wyoming counties. Our council is one of 112 councils across the country that make up Girl Scouts of the USA. With over 3 million members, girls discover the fun, friendship, and power of girls together. We are connected with other countries through WAGS, the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. WAGS provides Girl Scouts with opportunities for international friendship and understanding through fun and educational activities outside the U.S. What does the Service Unit Manager do? As the Service Unit Manager, you will partner with your assigned membership manager to coordinate the activities of the unit. Using a plan of work, you will outline the goals for the service unit and then oversee other volunteers in achieving those goals. Bring concerns to your membership manager and work together to find solutions. Provide two-way communication and relay information from the council to the service unit. You will not have to do it alone. Delegate tasks to other volunteers and support them in accomplishing the goals of the service unit. You will work with the service team to set the agenda for service unit meetings and run effective meetings. Ensure compliance with council and national policies and procedures and report issues to the council. Service Unit Manager meetings are held several times a year. These short meetings include council updates, training, and sharing opportunities. It is important to attend, but if you find you have a schedule conflict, be sure to send a representative for your service unit. This position requires an average of 4 hours per month. A Service Unit Manager is appointed for a one-year term, which may be renewed upon completion of the evaluation process. Training is provided, we're working on Part 1 now, and should be completed within 30 days of appointment. You will have several other volunteers to help you in running the service unit, known as the service team. The service team supports the volunteers in their area. As Service Unit Manager, you can foster personal development in others by encouraging them to take on new roles within the service unit. Each service unit varies in the number of people who serve in these roles. Sometimes a volunteer chooses to serve in more than one role. It is important to be sure that no one takes on more than they can handle, and that every qualified volunteer who wants to serve on the team has the opportunity to do so. Therefore, all service unit managers must receive permission from their membership manager before taking on an additional role on the service team. Let's take a look at the roles of the service team members. The finance consultant manages the service unit bank account and files the required paperwork. She also supports troop leaders in managing their troop bank accounts and ensures timely submission of finance reports. They may also provide occasional training on finance-related topics as needed. The registrar works with the council registrar team to maintain an accurate service unit roster of all members. They work with leaders to complete paperwork, encouraging participation in spring registration, and getting troops registered before meetings or beginning product sales. The organizer helps to set up recruitment events in your area and works with you and your membership manager to identify other volunteers to help staff them. They also recruit leaders and girls, forming new troops and placing girls into existing troops. Product sales managers may oversee the fall, spring, or both council-sponsored product sales. They work directly with the council's product sales team to train troop product sales managers, ensure online order entries, distribute products at delivery, and ensure troops pay for their orders. GSLE coaches support volunteers in delivering the GSLE to girls. They may provide training at service unit meetings, work one-on-one or in small groups to guide leaders through using journeys, badges, and other activities such as ceremonies, outdoor activities, or even field trips. The secretary is your communications manager. They may simply be the note taker at meetings, but might also manage service unit emails, a service unit website, or social media. All of these tasks could be done by the same person or could be divided depending on the time, interests, and skills of the volunteer. Delegates and alternate delegates represent the service unit at the council annual meeting. They bring proposals to the unit regarding issues that concern members and vote according to the wishes of the group. Facilitators provide training and support to all volunteers in the service unit and around the council. They may facilitate training at service unit meetings, within the service unit on separate dates, or at regional courses offered through the council. The Adult Recognition Committee and Chair are responsible for submitting nominations to the Council Recognition Committee for review. They also receive and review nominations for the Volunteer of Excellence Award and determine the recipients for their service unit. They may also be responsible for year-round volunteer appreciation efforts within the service unit. Council policies and procedures. You won't need to know every rule and regulation out there, but let's highlight a few commonly asked questions you might encounter. The Adult Handbook for all volunteers is Volunteer Essentials. This highlights national and council policies and procedures for working with girls, finances, and product sales. Safety activity checkpoints are available online. These outline the skills and knowledge groups need before approaching an activity. The Blue Book of Documents includes information about the national organization, charters, memberships, and more. Volunteers are required to review and adhere to the guidelines in these resources. Membership. Membership is based on a one-year cycle beginning October 1st through September 30th of the following year. There are no refunds on membership dues. Girl Scouting is open to all girls in grades K through 12. Girls must become registered before participating in activities. Troop leaders should submit paperwork before the troop starts to meet. Financial assistance is available to help families cover the cost of a girl's membership. Your service unit registrar is the expert on all things membership and registration. When you are not sure, she is your go-to gal. Volunteers and adults. All volunteers must complete an approval process consisting of an application, background check, and interview. Approved volunteers will need to become registered members as well. Training is provided for all volunteer positions. Some training courses require completion before meeting with girls. A minimum of 2 approved unrelated adults, at least one of whom is female, must be present at all times during group activities. Additional adults are required based on group size and age. Check Volunteer Essentials, knowing how many adults you need, for specifics. Troop drivers must also be approved volunteers, however an interview is not required to serve in this position. Your Service Unit Troop Essentials Facilitator is the expert on getting a troop up and running and ensuring new volunteers complete the approval process. Your job is to make sure all new volunteers get connected with the Troop Essentials Facilitator. Money Management. All registered Girl Scouts, regardless of age level and pathway, can participate in council product sales. The Mags and Munchies sale is held in the fall and is a great way for troops to earn startup funds and practice sales pitches with family and friends. The cookie sale is held in the spring and includes pre-orders, goal-getter, and booth sales. Parents and guardians must sign the permission forms before their Girl Scout can participate in product sales. All monies collected must be deposited into the troop bank account. Monies owed to the council should be transmitted via e-payment. Your Service Unit Product Sales Manager is your expert on all issues related to product sales. Girls at junior level and above may participate in additional money-earning projects to help fund their activities. They must submit an application to the membership manager prior to beginning. Volunteer Essentials Chapter 5 discusses finance topics and gives specific details on money earning.
All troops must open a bank account when their funds equal $100 or more, generally upon forming a troop. Leaders receive the documentation necessary at Troop Essentials training, but must coordinate with the finance consultant for opening. 3 signers are required on the account: the troop leader, an assistant, and the finance consultant. Expenditures require 2 signatures. All money should be deposited or debited directly from the account, and all receipts must be kept on file. Finance reports are filed with the Council biannually. All monies collected from dues, product sales, and additional money-earning projects, or in other ways, belong to the troop as a whole and not to individual girls. Your service unit finance consultant is your expert on all things related to money handling. Programming. All girls should use the National Program Portfolio for group activities. This includes Journeys, Skill Builder, Legacy, and Financial Literacy badges, Petals for Daisies, and other awards such as My Promise, My Faith, Safety Award, Cookie Activity Pin, Journey Summit Award, and more. These are detailed in the Girl's Guide to Girl Scouting and online. Occasionally, leaders will have questions about activities or field trips. The annual program guide and vendor guide are excellent resources for activity ideas. Your service unit GSLE coach is your expert on the National Program Portfolio. Girls junior level and older can also challenge themselves with higher awards, bronze, silver, or gold depending on their level. In these leadership projects, girls identify a community need and develop and implement a leadership project that addresses the root cause of the issue. Leaders, parents, and girls should consult the GSWNY website for specific details on requirements, training, and other guidelines before beginning a project. A GSWNY program staff member is the expert on the higher awards. Troop travel activities lasting more than 2 nights or requiring travel east of IID-1 or outside of New York State require advance permission from the Council. While no special training is required, adult volunteers should review the safety activity checkpoints for the planned activities and use the GSWNY travel packet when making plans with girls. The packet details basic travel planning tools as well as required forms for submissions for approval. A GSWNY program staff member is the expert on troop travel.
The Council staff partner with volunteers like you to support our members and families. Each department's role is unique, and together we strive to be the preeminent leadership development organization for girls. The MVP department, Membership, Volunteerism, and Program, encompasses girl programs, troops, service units, recognition, summer camp, training, and archives.
The Finance Department provides supports for troop and service unit banking issues. Fund Development is the fundraising arm of the Council. They work to secure funding that helps support underserved populations, financial assistance, and scholarship opportunities. They also support the girl-led program Women of Distinction, which recognizes women from across our Council who make significant contributions in their field.
The product sales team supports Council-sponsored product sales with training, ordering, delivery, and girl incentives. Retail sales is responsible for our brick and mortar and online shops. They also coordinate our mobile shops at special events and our customer service associates at the front desk of each service center. The operations department includes our Council registrars, information technology staff, administrative support staff, and human resources. The property and asset management department oversees property safety and maintenance and risk management.
Your primary contact will be your membership manager, who will guide you in determining the correct staff person for additional support.
Let's talk about effective delegating. You do not and should not have to take on the burden of accomplishing all tasks alone. Rely on your team and other volunteers to help make things efficient and fun. Generally, a good service unit manager is one who is already accustomed to serving in a leadership role. Great service unit managers also know how to let go and let others take the lead. Share your expectations. Know what you want from your team and lay it out for them so that they understand it clearly. There's nothing more frustrating than when someone gives you an assignment but doesn't explain what they really want. It's easy to forget that they don't always see what you see, so give them a detailed picture, particularly if you have experience with that project or job, a deadline, or a goal to reach. Get everyone prepared. There's no need for people to stumble blindly around trying to figure out how to do a job. Many of the positions have specific training for volunteers to attend, but sometimes they need encouragement to do so. Even those who have years of experience can learn something new from others, so let your team know that you expect them to participate in the appropriate learning opportunities. Remember, the girls are our #1 priority. People tend to get caught up, and the successful service unit manager regularly reminds his or her team of our very important mission. Whether it's decision making or resolving a conflict between adults, bringing it back to the girls will refocus everyone involved and help get things back on track. Ask for assistance. Just because you're the service unit manager doesn't mean you're superwoman or man. It's okay to set limits, not know the answer, or ask for help when you're feeling overwhelmed. Aside from your team, remember that your membership manager is also there to back you up, offer guidance, or just be a sympathetic ear if needed. Check in regularly. As a service unit manager, you won't be doing everything yourself, we hope, but that doesn't mean that you will hand out assignments and then take a vacation. The best managers are those who can keep a watchful eye on the progress of each project and be ready to help whenever needed. Ask them to report at the service unit team meeting or regularly set aside time to talk to them one-on-one. The idea is to make sure they're making progress and haven't gotten off track or stuck along the road. But let them be individuals. You may have experience working on certain projects that you'll be delegating to others now. If so, be sure to pass on everything you can that might be helpful, and then step back. Each of us approaches things from our own perspective and set of insights, which means that no one will do things exactly the way you would, but that doesn't make it wrong. Your role is to make sure that they get the service unit to the right result, not to dictate every step along the way.
Follow your own lead. If you expect people to respect you as a leader, first you'll need to show that you respect yourself. The standards, guidelines, attitudes, and yes, even rules that you expect others to abide by will apply to you first, or they'll never apply to anyone else. Being a role model to the entire service unit is a big responsibility, but we know you can handle it. The best service unit managers are those who value their people enough to really listen to them. If you have an idea that will make things run smoother, offer to help them try it out. If they're having trouble with something, ask what you can do to assist them. Your team will be more engaged, excited, and successful in achieving the goals if they know you value their ideas and are dedicated to helping them do well.
Keeping the lines of communications going is a big part of the partnership between the council and the service unit. You will want to use a variety of methods to communicate with the volunteers in your unit. In addition to passing on information from your membership manager, you will receive the council information sheet monthly to pass on to leaders. From time to time, you may be asked to forward other emails or handouts. We appreciate your efforts to keep everyone informed. Your service unit may decide to also publish a newsletter, email groups, or phone calls to keep everyone connected. Whatever method your team decides to use, be sure to be consistent, positive, and follow GSUSA policies regarding trademarked and copyrighted materials. While some people love face-to-face interaction, there are times when that just isn't possible, like those late-night planning sessions when you've got a great idea you can't wait to share with your girls. Keep communications going strong by taking advantage of tech tools. Enlist the help of volunteers to manage social media, a website, or file sharing for the service unit. You can also use these tools to share ideas, important info, or follow up on events. The plan of work is a living document you will build with your team and membership manager. Using this template, you will outline a plan to help the unit accomplish its membership goals in the area of recruitment, retention, and recognition. The overall goal of the service unit is to support and advance the mission of the organization. One way you will do that is by inviting new members to join. Working with your service team and membership manager, you will plan out the logistics of recruiting girl and adult members. Recruitment events are simply occasions where information is shared about Girl Scouting opportunity in your community. They can be short programs where parents are invited to attend with their daughter to find out more about Girl Scouting, or they might be an info table at a local fair, festival, or family-friendly event where volunteers speak to passers-by and invite them to hear more. Your membership manager will provide much of the materials you will need for these events, such as posters, flyers, handbag cards, electronic communications, and activity ideas. You will want a few adults to attend who can talk to parents about the benefits of Girl Scouting, volunteering, and what a typical Girl Scouts experience looks like. You might also want to have some older girls on hand to lead activities with girls. The service unit organizer will be the primary person responsible for the planning and running of recruitment events in your service unit. She will need your support as well as that of the registrar, other troop leaders, and parent volunteers. So now that you know what a recruitment event is, where can you have one? Take some time with your team to consider these questions. In addition to schools, churches, local community centers, or family-oriented organizations may be ideal locations for reaching girls and adults. Sometimes you will encounter challenges as you reach out in your community, such as school district's restriction on sending home paper flyers, not being open to outside groups, a lack of information about the mission and values of the organization, or a lack of locations to outreach. Think about what you might do if you were trying to reach out to a local organization to secure a place to hold a recruitment event or troop meeting. What might you say to help get your foot in the door? Who could help you in making the ask? What other resources are available to assist you? One way to measure a service unit success is through girl retention. That is, how many girls remain members from one year to the next. You and the service team will work with your membership manager to outline a plan for retaining members. You'll want to think about the program and events that the service unit provides to girls and adults. How will the service unit be visible in the community? And what training is needed to support new and existing volunteers? The type and variety of programming that a service unit offers is an important factor in retaining girls. It goes to the heart of our mission as an organization. Are we providing girls with high quality experiences that give them the courage, confidence, and character to make the world a better place? When planning, you'll want to think about these questions. Their answers will depend on the size of the service unit and the goals for your programs. All Girl Scout programs should be designed to achieve the Girl Scout leadership experience outcomes. One or more of these outcomes should be the goal of each event. All events and activities for girls should also include the three processes for achieving these outcomes. Use girl-led, learning by doing, and cooperative learning processes as much as possible. The event planning sheet included in your service team manual will help guide you through the planning process for events. Remember, your role as the service unit manager is not to run the events, but to ensure that those who do are trained, organized, and have adequate materials and manpower, and follow council and national guidelines. There should be at least one program designed specifically for Cadet, Senior, and Ambassador Girl Scouts each year. Whether your service unit uses the Scoops method or a committee to help plan events for the service unit, hosting an event specifically for older girls helps increase retention and makes them feel included in the service unit. Include independent girl members in the communications that go out to girls for these events. If you have only a few older girl troops, invite girls from neighboring service units to participate.
Support volunteers by offering a variety of ways for them to give and receive information. Use the meeting as an opportunity for shared decision-making, brainstorming, or team building. Leaders tell us that service unit meetings are their favorite place to receive training. So, help leaders build skills by including 10 to 15 minutes of training at every service unit meeting. Take this time to guide volunteers through the basics of registering their troop online, reviewing finance procedures, or delving into an enrichment topic like orienteering or successful service projects. It is important to also offer some type of open session, be it an open forum, a time for when you can ask a question or bring a concern to the group, buzz tables where you share ideas on a topic, age-level breakouts, leaders of the same troop can get together and plan joint activities, concerns, or get advice, or an expo of ideas, be it a craft sharing night, a camp-out recipe exchange, or exciting field trip locations. Your service unit GSLE coach and adult learning facilitator are your local experts on providing programming support and training to leaders. In addition, the GSWNY program staff and adult development staff are available to help you identify topics, materials, and resources for use during meetings.
Volunteers who feel appreciated are more likely to remain committed to the organization. Create a culture of appreciation by giving recognition for others' contributions. Your service team and membership manager will work together to develop a plan for recognizing others in your service unit. How will you recognize the achievements of adult and girl members? How will you recognize girls who earn the highest awards? In what ways can you recognize troop volunteers, series volunteers, and others? What can the service unit do to show appreciation for volunteers monthly, quarterly, or annually? Formal awards are important as they recognize the hard work of those folks who consistently go above and beyond their job description to make a difference. National awards include the Appreciation Pin, Honor Pin, Thanks Badge 2, Volunteer of Excellence Award, and the President's Award. Council awards include the GSWNY Commitment to Excellence. Local awards include the Green Angel and Green Knight, available as a certificate, patch, or a pin, and certificates of appreciation. Informal rewards can be just as meaningful when done well. Consider themed events such as a leader-daughter event where leaders and daughters make thank you gifts for each other. Provide small token gifts of thanks at service unit meetings just after someone completes a task, such as an event or cookie sales, and then invite them to join your end-of-year party. Offer a family event for leaders and their families only, and recruit troop families to help run it. The Council Adult Recognition Committee hosts workshops annually to assist you and your team in determining the best form of recognition for your volunteers. Your Service Unit Adult Recognition Committee is your local expert on identifying candidates, submitting nominations, reviewing nominations, and planning and hosting recognition events in your area. The Service Unit meeting is a great place to share information, brainstorm ideas, make decisions, provide training, and more. As the Service Unit Manager, you help to set the agenda for the meetings. To help keep leaders upbeat and attendance high, follow these steps to success. Step 1. At the first meeting, provide your leaders with a schedule of meeting dates for the entire year so that everyone has an opportunity to arrange their attendance. Remind leaders that they are required to attend Service Unit meetings or send a representative in their place. Feel free to send out reminders a few days before each meeting, either by email or regular mail. This personal touch will go a long way in helping to get people to the meeting. Step 2. Be sure to attend the Service Unit Managers meetings. Set a good example by attending the meetings designed for you and share with your unit what you learned at them. If you cannot attend, send a representative to attend for you. Ask them to share at the meeting what was discussed. Step 3. Hold regular team meetings. This gives you a chance to discuss concerns, upcoming events, logistics, and possible agenda items. It gives everyone on the team a chance to give input and share what they have been working on. Be sure your team meeting topics are future focused so that everyone has time to respond to action items. Encourage each team member to report out during the leader meeting. Step 4. Based on the discussion of the group, set an agenda. Allot a set amount of time to each agenda item. This can be sent with your reminders and should be general. Save the specifics for the meeting itself. Be sure the agenda covers more than just information you can send via email. Step 5. It's your responsibility to follow the agenda and guide discussion during the meeting, so start and finish on time. There may be times when you will need to adjust things, and that's okay, but being mindful of the time tells people that you value them. Remember, these volunteers are giving up time with their families just as you are, so make it count. A good meeting will promote service unit goals, reinforce information and best practices, and keep participants engaged. Be creative and build connections by involving others in presenting topics. This sample agenda shows how you can divide up the meeting to include all the important details people will need in a concise way. Your meetings may vary from month to month. For example, during the Mags and Munchies or cookie sales, your product sales manager may need additional time for training. However, your service unit updates may need less than its allotted time. With your service team and membership manager, decide how frequently the service unit will meet. Most service units meet monthly during the school year. Don't be afraid to skip months or change the rotation times if you feel they would be inconvenient to the majority of participants. For example, many service units do not meet in mid to late December, and others break for the year after their May meeting, as the end of the year tends to get hectic for parents. Perhaps you are coming into a service unit that already has an established meeting place. If you need to identify a location, think about what is easily accessible for most people. Is there ample parking or public transportation available? Do they have handicap accessibility? Is the space large enough for your group? Do they have tables and chairs that you can use? Will you have enough time before and after the meeting for setup and cleanup? One thing to consider is whether or not your meeting should provide childcare. While this can be a great help in increasing attendance, you must be sure that there is adequate adult supervision and quiet activities for children to do. Be sure to establish expectations on when a leader should step out to deal with a disruptive child and who will share the burden of caring for the children. And remember, whenever you have unregistered participants, you must purchase supplemental insurance coverage. When setting up the room, you want to consider the size of the group and the tasks you will be doing. A U-shaped arrangement allows dialogue among participants while directing the focus of the room toward the open end of the U for a presentation or slideshow. An auditorium seating arrangement works best for a large group. You are able to fit the greatest number of people in any given space. If you are presenting to a large group and the information being delivered may require note-taking, a classroom-style setup may work best. Classroom-style seating is also conducive to small group projects or breakout groups. Circular seating tends to bring the group together as a whole and promotes a town meeting atmosphere. Also, no physical barriers such as tables are present. A rectangular arrangement is similar to a circular one in that it allows participant-driven discussion and distributes an equal balance. Tables allow for notes to be taken during the meeting. It will help build a feeling of connection if service team members spread out around the room and do not sit clustered together. You want to be a source of support to the leaders and not give the appearance of being a closed group that only a certain few can be part of. Create a welcoming environment with these simple tips. Show up early to make sure the room is ready and all the necessary materials are available. If you find there are any last-minute glitches, you will have time to address them. Greet your audience and make them feel welcome and set the tone for the meeting. If you are unable to remain at the door, assign someone to take over the duty as greeter. Have a sign-in sheet, name tags, and troop mail ready to go near the entrance so people can grab what they need and sit down. Having everything organized will help things go smoothly from the start. Begin the meeting on time and ensure it progresses on schedule. Use newsprint or post-its to manage questions and concerns that are off topic or need to be addressed later. This is known as a parking lot and is a great way to show you have heard and respect the opinion of the person who raised the issue. As much as possible, do not allow the meeting to continue past the time stated on the agenda. If you do find that the meeting will run over, let your volunteers know and take the pulse of the group. What topics can be deferred to another time? What things must be accomplished? Are people willing to stay an extra 5 or 10 minutes? Managing a meeting effectively includes being able to manage the behaviors of the group. You may find yourself in a meeting surrounded by participants who begin to drift off in thought or whose body language becomes non-responsive. There are a few ways you can stimulate this passive group. Break into buzz groups that can discuss a topic and then report back to the total group. Have a brainstorming session to generate new ideas. Appoint some individuals to facilitate small breakout groups to help solve a problem or discuss an issue. You may have people at your meetings who are disruptive, constantly having discussions or asking questions that are off topic. To deal with disruptions, remember to defer questions and discussions when appropriate. If side conversations are an issue, pause so that they are the loudest conversation in the room, stand next to them, or ask for their opinion. And consider talking privately with members who continually exhibit disruptive behaviors. Sometimes volunteers are overly eager to display their knowledge and experience. While you want to validate their input and participation, sometimes this is too much of a good thing. Don't be afraid to cut across someone in a tactful way by throwing a question to someone else and suggesting that you get several opinions. Be sure to summarize good points to let them know when you appreciate their input. And if necessary, use the parking lot. Even if a conversation is on topic, this is a useful tool when a volunteer wants to continue the conversation and you need to move on to the next agenda item. Dealing with conflict doesn't have to feel like you're going 9 rounds in the ring. These tips will help you to manage conflict while respecting others. Face-to-face communication is the most effective. You should always speak to someone one-on-one if it's an important conversation or has the potential to becoming emotionally charged. Never, never criticize someone over email or in front of other people. Go directly to the source for clarification. Not only will you avoid passing on faulty information, but you'll be role modeling good leadership to your volunteers. Build rapport with your volunteers. Do not take sides. Focus on the issue and don't let yourself get brought into the gossip. Use I statements and focus on the actions and feelings rather than blame. Repeat back to the person what you have heard and check for understanding. Suggest possible solutions that both parties can agree to. If necessary, have each person sign a contract to hold them to their agreement. Check back in a few weeks or months to see how things are going. This concludes our session and part 1 of Service Unit Manager Training. To receive proper credit for this course, please complete the evaluation online by following the link provided in your registration materials. The second and final part of Service Unit Manager Training is a 90-minute live class designed to help service team members build the necessary skills to manage a high-functioning service unit. This training should be completed within 30 days of your appointment. You can find the complete course schedule online by visiting gswny.org and clicking on the link for eBiz.